Be cognizant of those that are messaging you first, right? But I think the link's in the Discord. Give it a check. If not, I'm sure we'll get it to you in here in a little bit. Every morning we do a pre-market huddle every morning, every
About
single morning.
45 minutes before.
8:45. Yep. 8:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Last anywhere from it could be 5 minutes, it could be 15 minutes. But it's just we do it at that time because we allow 15 minutes post any pre-market data to come out so we can kind of get a feeling at that point for the reaction and where we're going to be starting out for the day. So be on time. Those are super important, guys. Obviously do your homework every night, but if you couldn't, that would be a good way to do some last minute homework. Just be prepped for the market. Um, Other than that, I'll shut up. Justin, you want to?
Yep. What is going on, wow, I totally butchered that. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a Monday watch. It is not Sunday, it is Monday. 3-day weekend, so it is going to be a short week this week. If you're new here, we typically do it every Sunday. We will be doing it every Sunday going forward, whether it's a 3-day weekend or not. What we go over is trade plans for the week. We go over the indices, any earnings for the week, any economic data, are there any Fed speakers for the week, so that we can get prepared, right? Because the prepared trader gets prepared on the weekends. So here we are getting prepared for the week. Let's have another awesome week. 2 weeks left in the first month of 2024. So let's absolutely end it strong. I'm your host, Mr. Banks, along with No Risk, No Premium.
Yo, 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 what up, what up, what up, everybody? Happy MLK Day, right? Shout out MLK, appreciate um everything that he did for us in our history, but also for the day off. Not gonna lie, it's nice to have a day off. We all agree with that. Especially a day off with your eyes away from the markets. But guys, what's happening? What's up? What's happening? I think we're all kind of thinking the same thing here as like, is this a double top or bust? Like, what are we doing? Right? What are we doing here? What are we doing? Double top or bust? Now, if you're going to ask me, well, where do we go from here? The true answer and the answer that everybody should answer with is I don't know. But I'll tell you if we go to certain places on the chart, what I'll be looking to do at those certain places. That's what you need to tell yourself, right? Yes, we're in an uptrend, but that doesn't mean that there's not still possibly a short opportunity, even though it's counter trend, right? Or if we're, in a downtrend, there could be a long opportunity. But right, the market's been trending up. Buy the dip has been working, right? Buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip, right? That has been working. So we're going to go over some levels for you guys today. But as always, anyone that's here for the first time, we always start with the economic data. Why do we do that? Well, we play the chart, not our heart. Okay, that's the first thing. But second thing, we need to know what moves the market. Typically, what moves the market is an overwhelming rush of buyers and sellers to the market. And what causes that to happen a lot of the times is news events, Fed speakers, earnings, data coming out, etc. Right. So let's go see what possibly can move the market here. Right. We start with Monday, Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. We have that day off. That's great. On a Tuesday, very light day, little bit of pre-market data, just a New York manufacturing survey that comes out. You can see it there. It's an hour from open. Now, I don't think that's going to make or break the market by any stretch of the imagination. Then on to a knucklehead that comes on to speak. And just so you know, anytime I say the word knucklehead, I'm talking about any Fed president besides Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell's his own type of special. I'll have a name for him later. But looking here, I mean, you could just see from an overview of this week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times we've got knuckleheads coming out to speak. None of them are Powell. Okay. So it really doesn't matter what they say. The only thing that matters, the only person that matters in what they say is when Powell says something. That is literally it. Only matters when Powell says something. So that's when we should be paying attention. But he's not speaking this week. All right. But just pay attention. When these knuckleheads are going to speak, the market could pop and drop, liquidity grab, wick, whatever you want to call it, absolutely can happen. So you want to make sure that if you're in a position that you know that that can happen. All right. Now, back to Tuesday. Like I said, a little bit of data pre-market, 11 a.m. We have one of the knuckleheads coming on to speak. On to Wednesday, we get a little bit more of a volume of data coming in here. We get some U.S. retail sales minus autos. I think that'll be big to see what the consumer, that's just kind of like consumer spending on the retail side of things. We'll want to know. It'll give us a little bit of insight what's going on with rates being as high as they've been for as long as they've been, right? So that data will be good at 8:30. I think we could see a little bit of movement. Then starting right into the open, right? 30 minutes before the open, we already see we've got a couple knuckleheads right there. And then data into the open, you guys could see them come, or excuse me, right before the open. Data right before the open. So lots of stuff happening on Wednesday right before the open. And then another knucklehead comes out there. You guys can see them there. On to Thursday, I think this is gonna be the most important day. Obviously, jobless claims comes out. We want to see every week. We guys know Thursday morning, right? We have that jobless data hit, and we'll need to know what happens, right? In that pre-market. So that's why being up and early, especially on Thursdays or any of these big pre-market days that have jobless claims, CPI, PPI, or PCE are always important this week. Looks like we only got the jobless claims coming out. So that's what we'll be watching on Thursday. On to Friday. No pre-market data, but we got all the University of Michigan data that comes out. That's the 1 in 5 year inflation. 1 in 5 year inflation expectation, as well as the consumer sentiment. So big day on Friday. That data always comes at 10 a.m. and that definitely moves the market. You see a big move typically on the SPY, QQQs, et cetera. If you're playing the indices, you always see some big, either big bodies or big wicks, right? You just see an influx of buying and selling come in, as well as existing home sales. You guys know the real estate market is huge, makes a majority of our economy. And obviously, with rates as high as they are, you always want to see what's going on in the real estate market than just a couple knuckleheads. And hopefully by 1 p.m. we are done, checked out, maybe have a tea time somewhere, or maybe grabbing drinks early, whatever you like to do on your Fridays. Hopefully you're out of office by that time. Remember, 1 and done on Fridays is always how we do it. We can always check earnings whispers. I don't believe anything. No big tech names are going to be coming out until actually later next week. You guys see Tesla's right there on the 24th. Apple's not till February 1st. Netflix, Goldman Sachs on 13th. That'll be, 16th. That'll be interesting. February 1st. You guys see all these big names. They're not until way later, but they are up, right? I'm not seeing actually any for this week that are really big names that we need to pay attention to, but just know we are going to be getting into earnings season here soon. So we'll just be paying attention to that there. Now, on to my portion of the Sunday sermon. What I always go over is for the most part, I like to do the indices, while Justin also plays indices, but he focuses a little bit on the individual names as well. And I'll do some swing trading as well. So I'll be going over a couple charts there. Always start with the ES, right? We can see on the ES chart. Let's look at the weekly here. Really, actually, I want to go like this. I just want to focus in on this area. Okay, as we can see, right, broken over that all-time high or the previous, right, of the contract of this contract, 47.90, right? You guys see how big this area has been here. Broken over that area. Now we're seeming to want to hold. Last week, very nice big volume candle, lots of buyers, right, on that weekly candle. Going back into the ADMA and holding very nicely, right? And we had that very nice POW CPI pump retrace, right, at 4,700. So it looks like a very nice buy the dip here on the weekly. I like this area right here. Now we'll just zoom it in here, right? Get a little bit closer for you guys. I like this area for the weekly chart, for the week I'm going to be watching is this 47.90. Now we've had dips down a little bit below this area, but about 47.90 is what's been holding on any dips so far. So that's where I'm going to be watching 47.85 to about 47.90. Watch this zone for dips to hold into this area. You guys can see the ADMA is about 4,800. We're 13 points above, but I like dips into this zone. And then really the upside trade from here, if you're not buying the dip here, right? If you're not buying this dip to the upside, I don't, only other short trades I like is if we reject hard 48.41. But now at this point, after seeing multiple rejects and more so of a basing or a flagging or a consolidation up here, I'm more so going to be watching 48.41.50 to break to the upside, right? And for me to watch a confirmation, I like a nice break above, back test and hold to continue higher. That's what I'll be watching. So buy the dip into 47.90. Right, you can watch the reject at 48.41, but I'll be watching for that break and hold. Now looks like we could be charging up for a possible move up there. Short trade, if you're going to short the whole, I like it underneath 47.60, right? 47.65, 47.60. I like it under. Now if we do break underneath 47.90, you can see how many times we've broken under and the little wicks that come, right? So you don't want to get caught in that liquidity grab. So a lot of people are saying, well, 47.90 break, you could take the short. I think we see a liquidity grab there regardless, and I think that'd be a tougher trade. Break of 47.65 would easily give us 25 points down to about 47.40. I do think if we break under 47.65, we easily come back down to this 4,700 area, where I like to bounce at 4,700 and the contract roll area of 46.50. So those are the macro levels, but as far as the overnight level, I'll be watching, right, 47.90 to 4,800. Let's see if we can hold that. If we do, I think I like 48.21 to get taken out. Targets 48.41. Break and hold there. new all-time highs, right? Get long and strong, put runners to break even, go have a nice day. Okay, onto the SPY chart. It's going to look very identical to the ES chart. Why? Right? Why? Because it's the cash ETF. Okay, you got it. Let's zoom out here just a little bit. Sorry. Start on the weekly. We could see 480, well, 479.98, but 480 it was previous all-time high, and we are getting it. And all you can see here is a very nice trend down, or a pull back down on low volume, right? Pull back down on low volume, and then a move back higher, right? You guys could see that we bounced right at 468. That's been a big, huge level. You guys can see we're kind of playing, the ADMA is playing catch up here. I need my EMA people. But 480, I think 480 is just going to be your big level. That's going to be like that 48, 41 level. Okay, we'll go down to the daily here, right? We're just floating along this ADMA now. I mean, we went and tested the 21 EMA, which we knew this was, right, that little bit of a retrace that we did have, but now we're popped back up. We came over this recent high, right? I'm going to zoom in just a tad bit more here. Came in over this recent high here at like 476.50-ish, but I really think you're going to want to watch 480. I think 480 is going to be that level, right? We're going to want to watch dips into 475 to hold. Absolutely. Think about that's 47.98, 4,800 on ES, but watch this area right here, 470. If we can hold that area overnight, okay, and into the morning, I think we get to move back above into 480. Excuse me, 478, 480 is going to be above there. So break and hold 478 on the daily. We get that all-time high test, break and hold 480, get long and strong, move runners to break even, etc. Go enjoy your day. 480 is going to be big. 475 is going to be that next area I'm going to be watching for the overnight action. Now on to QQQ. Right, on to QQQ, doing very similar stuff to SPY and ES, right? Kind of back testing and going, back testing and going. We can see we knew 495 was our area to get long and strong. We had it highlighted here. Very nice bounce in that zone and go. Holding its ADMA still moving up, having an inside day here on Friday. But for me, I'm going to like any back test. I'm going to show you on a little bit lower time frame. It looks a little bit cleaner so you guys can see it. Any back test into 406.50, I'll be looking for longs. Okay, now break and hold this level. I do think we could get a move back to about 400. Okay, break and hold under 406.50. I do think we can get a move back to 400, but do notice we did have a very nice bounce down here at about 404. So just be cognizant of that. But 406.50, I do believe will serve us pretty well. Obviously, over 412, but really 413 was that all-time high that we got in the pre-market. So 413 break and hold. So I'll be watching 406.50, 413, 406.50, 413. Those are going to be the big levels for this week. I will be watching. Bounce zones will be at 400 to about 402 respectively, right? If we get underneath 406.50, but I do think keep your eye on 413 this week. Very likely. We had huge data prints last week and we could not go down for a couple days after. So let's see what happens, right? Let's see what happens on our levels. Last cash ETF that we do is IWM. We can see this balance is filling out. Obviously, unfortunate swing opportunity that we got stopped out of. Ended up going crazy the next day. Such as trading, right? But right idea, right? So I'm going to keep the same idea. Anywhere from about 191 to 192. If this area likes to hold, I do like for a nice possible, because we're just building out some balance in this zone right here, right? It almost looks like, Justin, and correct me if I'm wrong, we got like a stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, stage 1, possibly. Small caps building up for another move higher. It's very possible. Okay, it's very possible. So I'll be watching 192 to the upside here to hold 191, 192. I'm going to see if we can hold here. That's going to be my big level. If we do, I do like a swing long here still. And you could be for this Friday, right? At 192, I'd be looking maybe some 193, 194 calls for this Friday. See if we can get this area to hold, maybe a move back to 195. Those go in the money. That's a really nice play I like here on IWM. Underneath 190.50, this wick, underneath this wick, I like and favor the bounce all the way down here at this old structure area of 188. You can't take the short under here. It'd be a little bit higher risk because you see how many liquidity grabs we've had there, or you could just be patient. I like 188 at the bounce zone in there. Guys, I have about 2 tickers I want to show you. Really quickly, I want to update you on our Disney swing. Very nice bounce on Friday. We needed that bounce and we got it. And as you can see, we had some support into this 90 area. We broke below it, but bounced right back above and held it. I like to see that. As long as 90 holds, I think 91 gets taken out, 92, 93, 50, 95 is definitely going to be on par. Now we've got the February contracts here. Don't forget, we already had about 25% or so, maybe a little bit more, maybe almost 30% come in. A very nice trade thus far. Let's see if we can keep it going. We had some trim. So guys, remember, always be selling into strength. Abscess is the name of the game. But I'm liking it for 190. As long as we hold 190 to the upside, 190 gets to, or 90, excuse me, 190, 90. We hold 90. We can hold 90. Sorry. 91 gets taken out. Get a very nice uptrend. We needed to see this very nice bounce here on Disney. Let's look at HD real quick, guys. All my Home Depot's peeps, any do-it-yourselfers. Look at the monthly chart here. Look at this breakout that's happening. Caught this chart this morning. We could see we got some consolidation here. It looks like we could be wanting to break to the upside. I like this trade, right? We are breaking out of a huge. We had a monthly close pretty much at this 345, which was huge. And this month we are looking to start to move higher. Right. So anywhere from 345 to 355, that's going to be your zone you're going to want to watch. Actually, let's go to the weekly chart. Oh, no, that's the monthly. Let's go to the weekly. Weekly, what do? We broke over, held, back tested, and went. That's very bullish. Breaking out of structure, back testing the structure, and going. So anywhere from, depending where we open, right? If we get down to 345, I like longs down here. But ultimately, I would like to see us open and stay above 355. Think about that as like kind of like your pivot. If we stay above this area, I think 370 is pretty much coming, right? You can definitely see 370. But I like this area down here, right? I like this area, area right here, 355. That'll be kind of a pivot zone you can watch. Going to the daily chart here, right? You want to see, are we gonna nice flag and boom, hold higher? You guys can see have the ADMA on the daily 350, right? Kind of still holding. 2 candle closes consecutively above 355. So watch 350, 350 to 355. Watch this zone in here. I like this area to see if we can possibly get continuation onto the upside. Now, HD is expensive, so just remember that. Last chart I do want to show you guys is going to be hood. Put that on the hood. I'm good. Obviously, the crypto ETF, the Bitcoin ETF, yes, it came out. Yes, that's going to bring more money to brokers. Was it a sell the news event? I mean, you tell me. I mean, coin kind of the same way, right? Coin kind of the same way. Coin, I like a move back to, actually, I'll chart this later tonight for you guys. But 116, look for the bounce in there. But on hood, I like this as a very affordable swing. I like it for shares. You could buy shares of this down here, right? You don't even have to take the options, but I'll be looking at some March or further. And I'm going to be watching this 10 level. I'm going to watch the 10 level. As you can see, kind of been a point of control. Anytime we've been, below it, we kind of hover below it, get some resistance, pop above it, back test into it, hold above it, break below it, retest into it, get down below, pop above. So are we going to see a possible, we got all the SMAs right here as well, kind of all bunched up together. Do we possibly get a test back down in this area into the 10? If we do, I'll be looking for the long sided trade there to hold. Obviously, we're going to buy time, give yourself some space to hold, right? For some drawdown, possibly into the 8 area. That's obviously been a big level that we've seen, right? 8 has been a big level. And then the last thing I want to say before I turn it over, guys, if you're going to be getting into any swings when you got indices at all-time highs or indices that are at resistance, guys, get into your trades not full-sized. This is not huge risk on time in the markets. Right? It's a lot of uncertainty of what we're going to go from the upside. If you guys are going to get into swings, nibble in a little bit. Definitely want to be, starter positions or just scaling in. If you normally like to have $2,000 swings, do 500 at a time. And even let's say you buy, and because people are like, well, if I'm not in a full, I'm like, the perfect trade rarely ever works out. Like, let's be honest. But let's say we get a wick down to 1050 and I'm like, buy a couple contracts. We get to 10, right? And I'm like, perfect. And I'm like halfway in. And then the next day we gap up and go, who cares? Who cares? That one trade isn't going to change your life, right? But having and practicing good habits every day will change your life, okay? So I'll be watching all of those swing levels that I was telling you about, guys. Scaling. It's not the time to have big size, okay? have smaller sizes on your swing. And like Justin says, anyway, you day trade a little bit heavier and then you swing a little bit lighter, right? Because lots of things can happen overnight, right? When the market's not open. So if you're super heavy risk on an overnight swing, you could be in trouble, right? So always just remember that, guys. But this 10 level, I will definitely be watching. I'll be watching here on hood. I put that on the hood. I'm good. I'm good. Justin, guys, that's all I got for you. What do you got for us?
What's going on, guys? Good to be back.
Yes.
Meta's gonna be my first one I am looking at. As you guys know, the theme is all-time highs, all-time highs, all-time highs. I mean, across the board, this is what we're playing. All-time highs, breaking all-time highs. We're coming back to all-time highs. So gonna feel we're a little repetitive, but that's what we'll be watching. That's been the pattern is break to new all-time highs. Market's been strong. So first to start off, Meta. Nothing but strength back into, what do you know? All-time high. Just like the market. Nice little flag out here on the 4 hour this week. I'll be looking for a break and hold over this 377 level. Or look at 380, just a little psych level into 384. So we're very, very close. Go to the daily here again. We're very, very close to all-time high, 384.33. I mean, we are right smack dab there. So this week, all about 377, looking for a break and hold into about 380. And then that 384 will be that all-time high here, which is what I'll be looking for that breakout to get. Now, what we have been getting a lot lately is getting close to all-time highs, getting a nice reject and pullback, and then a breakthrough. So I will be watching for that across the board is tests of these all-time highs. And we just saw it on SPY, nasty sells from 378, right near that 380 all-time high. Still looking for that kind of same pattern across the board is getting near all-time highs, selling, and then a final push through. But we can push all the way through if we want to stay strong. So just keep an open bias as always when we come to these levels. Don't just think, oh, we're strong, we're just going to break straight through and keep running. We can easily come right back up here, sell off. It comes down to 355, and then we go and take out all-time highs, right? So when it comes to trading, have your levels, stay bias free. That's the one thing I see the most of why traders lose is because they have a heavy bias as the market needs to do this or it is going to do this, and they get absolutely crushed and lose a lot of money that way. So this week, Meta 377, looking for a break and hold to the upside into 380 and then 384 for that all-time high. Now, if the market decides to get weak, I will be looking to take a reject. We'll be looking for a bounce into this 362 360 area in here in this demand if we decide to pull back. Next on the list is going to be Google. Same thing. What do you know? Right near all-time highs, right? Right near all-time highs. Oh, it's like that. Just go back daily. Right. So right here, right near all-time highs, right? So this week, I will be watching this 144 level again. This will be watched last week. Had a nice big wick to the top here. See a big false breakout over that 144 level. This week, I will be watching that 144 level yet again. Let me get into this a little bit easier. So 144 is right here. We'll be watching for a break and hold. Might possibly be taking that light, but like this 145 level a little bit more. Over 145 would go see 148 and then that all-time high there. Show you guys this 148. It's not just a random level that I have, right? We could see this 148. This was a nice big reject. We rejected up here. You could see that this is a level of interest, this 148, 150 area. Pretty big level of interest. So that's why 148 is drawn, just not some random level. We could see here clearly on the 4 hour, pretty big level, right? Support, resistance, then we fell down to the lows. So again, this week we'll be watching for get back over here. This 144, taking it lightly, but I like this 145 a little bit more. Over 145, go see 148 and then all-time highs. Also watching for a pullback into about 141, 140 here, looking for this to hold as demand, and then maybe a bounce right back up into those highs. Below 140, we'll likely go see 138, but I will update you guys any lower levels this week as the week goes on, just looking more so for the upside since we've had strength. Next on the list is going to be AMD. Kind of same thing, double top. Also think, yes, yet again, all-time highs are coming in 2024. We are right here looking like we're trying to break out. All-time highs are right here. This week, I will be watching for a break and hold over 151. 151 will go see 155. 155 goes sees 160, 165 right there. We could see right here on the daily these levels. Right. So 151 breaks and holds. We'll go see this 150. I'd say 154, 155 level right here. Above that, we have nothing but room to about 160 and then 164 to the upside there. So 151 is what I'll be watching this week. Also looking for a bounce into about 141, 140. Nice little demand here between 140 and 138. So watching for a pullback here into demand, watching for this to hold for a bounce or that break and hold over this 151 level that we keep trying to break, little double top, but we didn't pull back fully, right? We didn't get a super nasty sell all the way back down. We came back down, we held, bounced up. So let's see if this holds here and we get that break of 151. Finally on AMD, Tesla, a couple levels here on Tesla. Nice little fair value gap right here was filled on the 4 hour. It's also on the daily here. Fair value gap filled, right? So we came down, we filled. Also on the daily here, what do you see? An inverse head and shoulders. For some reason, Trend Spider can't draw, so I'll just draw it like this, right? Do. Very similar, right? So do we come back down here? We have this FVG here. Sorry for my writing. We have FVG right here. Um, right, so we came down, we
A
filled
for
our,
effort. A for effort.
yeah, thank you, thank you. So it came right back down right here. So is this going to hold? And then we just get, we come back up like that, possibly. But yeah, so watching for this level to hold here, joke about just shooting right back up. But watching for this 217 will hold right here. You can see there is demand between 217 and 212 right here. Below 217, you could look to take a high risk short back into about 212. 210. I would be confident to take a long in this level, though. I would be confident to swing a long in this level. But really watching this week for 217 will hold. To 217 holds, look to take long back into about 220 to 223, 225, 227, 230, and ultimately back into 235 right here. So really watching 217 to hold this week. Below 217, watch for 212, 210. If we get down to 212, 210, we'll probably start a long swing here on Tesla. But if we hold that 217, we look to take long back into about 220, 222, this 225 area to 227, 230, and then 235 is to the upside there on Tesla. Last but not least, PayPal. Also watching for a long-term swing. Now we have a lot of imbalances to fill, right? A lot of imbalances to fill here on PayPal, right? You can see those on PayPal to fill to the upside. So I would be watching to take a swing back into about 65 here. 65, we'll look at 67, 70, and then all the way a move back into 75 here. I am still looking over contracts, but I will keep you guys updated and what I like on these. Good thing about PayPal is they are very, very cheap, but another inverse head and shoulders. Boom. There you guys go. All right. Also looking at on the list is the Zoom getting a nice little bounce here, showing us that buyers are stepping up here. I mean, we can see we've been in this nice accumulation since August of 2022, right? I mean, just massive, 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 massive accumulation. Almost looks like we could start to get a almost looks like a rounded bottom, doesn't it? Yes, good job, guys. Proud of you. So sorry. Just getting over being sick, so trying to get my funny back. But looks like a rounded bottom, right? Buyers are stepping up. Looks like we can easily go step up. So I might possibly take a swing on Zoom as well, and I'll keep you guys updated on there. That's all I got.
Yep. All right, guys. I like that Zoom play, Justin. Guys, that is all we got. Remember this week, a bunch of knuckleheads are speaking Do less, make more all 2024. It's cliche, but it works, guys. It is OPEX week as well. If you don't know what that is, go search it. You need to know what that means before the week starts. Other than that, probably have some more charts into the Discord for you guys before tonight is out. And other than that, we'll see you guys bright and early for the pre-market huddle.
Absolutely, guys. And last thing I will say is risk light, guys. 1 or 2 contracts. Just take it easy. Take it easy this year. Just quit repeating the same mistakes you made last year by oversizing, thinking you're good enough to put on a $500 trade or $1,000 trade or $2,000 trade. Most of you aren't, and that's the reality of it. And it's you just don't have enough experience. You will get there eventually, but you got to be real with yourself. This year is all about being honest with yourself, how good of a trader you are, how much experience you have. You're going to keep putting on $1,000, $2,000, oversizing on your trades because you want to make a lot of money, and then you keep losing a lot of money. That's ends very, very badly. So this week, guys, and the rest of the year, let's keep sizing down, sizing down, sizing down.
Could have said any better, brother. All right, guys.